Thank y'all for coming in. It's your girl, Honorable Judge Mo, and y'all are in Lux and Order, and we are dissecting the state of Illinois v. Holly Johnson over here in MoCo. The facts matter. Over here in Lux and Order, we deal with facts over feelings, evidence over emotions. You are entitled to your opinions, but your opinions do not trump black and white. We know that Holly let go 3 rounds. 3. 2 of them hit Romika. 1 in the face, 1 on the right side of her face, the other in her left thigh. The other round, we don't know where it went. There was 3 shell cases, but we don't know where that round went. It could have hit somebody else, right? We don't know. And then the 4th one was stuck in the chamber. A lot of people are getting caught up on this distance with witness 3. Witness 3 said what she said. She said what she saw. She said what she heard. You can't tell her she didn't hear that, which if I'm not mistaken, between TLC and Opulent, whoever want to take it, can you all dissect what the judge made clear to Ari in regards to witness 3 in her statement?
What Judge Clancy stated is that he does find witness 3 to be credible. At the time of her call to 911, it is time-stamped by OEM, and that timestamp is in fact accurate and the only timestamp that he will allow, unlike some of the other evidence that was entered by defense. And at that time of the call, she is in fact describing to 911 what she is seeing. And it matches up with what video defense did submit by CTA cameras, what is going on at that time.
And another thing that was stated in court, defense counsel attempted to paint the picture that witness 3's view was obstructed after she'd gotten off the bus because of a building that was in the line sight of where the accident took place. And the judge also countered by disagreeing with defense counsel's position that her view was obstructed after a certain point because he was familiar with that area and said that she still could have seen what had taken place. So there was a lot of effort again to discredit witness 3's ability to see and or hear what took place. And at every turn, the judge listened attentively, and he countered with direction, which direction this person was facing in, what could have been possible, the 911 calls where everything that took place and what every other witness said happened was also what was stated on those 911 calls made by witness 3. So, and then defense counsel also began attempting to discredit witness 3 by saying that she did in fact see witness 1 closing the victim into her car door, but that was the only thing she saw. That was the only thing that was accurate. So she attempted to discredit witness 3 after saying that she was credible enough to see witness 1 closing the victim into the door. So that's something to note. That was interesting to me.
Make sure, again, because I said over here in Lux and Order, we go off of what we can present, right? Whether it's black and white from the order. You mean to tell me that in the transcript that is annotated?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're not arguing this, or we're not pulling this from the sky as if it's our opinion.
No.
There's actual transcripts that show the dialogue between the court, prosecution, defense, and what was admissible and what wasn't, or what was deemed speculative, or no, it's a matter of fact, right? So that was presented, and it's on documentation in black and white for the people to see. Correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So I hear everything y'all saying, and this might be a little off topic, but this is what keep screaming in my head. Everybody point out what Romika should have did, what Romika shouldn't have did. Romika. I know 2 of y'all on here is close to her, so I'm not being insensitive when I say this, but I just need the masses of people to understand. Whatever Romika should have did or shouldn't have did, she done paid for her stuff. She paid for it in full. She paid for it. Nobody should be shining the spotlight saying what she shouldn't have did or what she was wrong. She's paid for her wrong in this situation. Now it's time for Holly to pay for hers.
I can process what you're saying, but I do think we need to phrase that a different way.
I can see why they say Romika shouldn't have stopped, but I can also see why she stopped. Because she'd already talked to him, asked him could he take the baby to school, allegedly. He couldn't, he was busy. So I'm not gonna lie, if I see my whatever and you done told me you couldn't do something, but you right there, I'm probably gonna pull over too. And we're gonna have some words. But I'm going up to him. I'm not going up to the female, because the female ain't none of my business. I'm going up to this man that I have a child with. And we're gonna have this discussion on why you couldn't do this. As the self-defense part, I don't think it was self-defense, because I'm standing on she should have retreated. And people keep saying, run away and leave her baby. Retreating is just simply, she could have gotten in her car, locked the doors. What, the girl gonna beat the window out the car to get you out the car? It just don't make sense to me.
And if she would have beat the window, that would have been justification to use force.
And that was a point I was trying to make too. And I also, they were like, well, she got a knot on her head. Well, why did she refuse medical treatment? Because if you accept medical treatment, then you could say, well, she put her hands on me. But again, you're refusing the things that will help you.
Well,
If she got a knot on her head, well, why did the police say that there were no physical injuries at the time of the arrest? According to eyewitnesses, more than one, you retreated to go and retrieve your weapon. So why couldn't you retreat and leave? And what is wrong with retreating to leave the scene when your child's father is present?
I don't see anything wrong with it. That was just the argument that was raised to me when I made the statements that I made. And I'm like, common sense is, if he's such a good father like you say he is, what's wrong with leaving your child with the father?
I'm going to ask this question, and I kind of want you to just answer it truthfully, just like straight up 100% without knowing the parties, just kind of judging the scenario from outside. Wouldn't it be just super crazy for somebody to, in broad daylight near a school, pull out a pew-pew and attempt to shoot it, pew-pew it 4 times, but only 3 are successful and 2 actually hit? Don't you think that if this was such a aimed and direct situation, don't you think that would just be crazy and outlandish from a verbal altercation for someone to do such thing in the presence of their 6-month-old?
Nope.
It's not outlandish. Okay, so it's common.
Crazier things have been
Yes,
done with this motivation.
I think it's outlandish that in all of this, Holly actually initiated contact with Ramika and then wanted to play hide her hands and play scared.
Girl,
That's what I think is outlandish.
So people don't usually do that, but they do pull out pew-pews and unalive people in broad daylight. Okay.
We're talking about
Get on TV.
women involved in a situation, a domestic situation with the same man.
This would be under those crimes of passion type scenarios that we've seen, because if we dissected it all, that no matter what, a man has been the focal point in this.
Yes,
So
that is what I do agree with.
So if we put it in perspective that way, then no, it's not outlandish. But if we're talking about 2 random people, then yes, it would be outlandish.
Okay.
But seeing that there's history, no.
I am just very much so interested to understand exactly the storyline of what took place, because as I look at those pictures of Holly, there was a video release that I was able to capture some screenshots of, and it was very clear to me that she did have, as the woman alluded to a little bit ago, a swollen eye, which would be my right eye. It would be to the right of that picture. But it looked to me as though some of her cornrows were detached from her head on that same side. I was just curious to know from y'all. In addition to that, I saw that her hoodie, the strings of the hoodie seeming appear to be soaked in ketchup, as well as her hoodie itself has some on there and going down her leg in a format of like porn. And for me, I was just like, wow, she must have been up close. There had to be something there, because how did she get those things on her hoodie string, on her, without them directly falling onto her?
We can research it. Again, my experience is very, very, very direct to this and what it does to the body. You can Google it, you can research it, but it'll tell you that type of weapon, that round, up at least at a minimum, you have to be a yard away. That's 3 feet. So again, she has clothes on. If you're moving in that direction to the person, what is in the middle of you guys, the clothing, all of that, those different factors matter. But for there not to have any, steeping of the clothes in that area, no burn mark around that area, no soot, that means the person was greater than 3 feet away. Period.
My belief is that she may or may not have contacted Holly, but based on her hair and how she looks and the ketchup that's on her, I do believe that there was some type of physical contact. Now I will say,
hold on. We got a lot right there. Hold on, boss. We really got to peel this back.
You're not hearing yourself.
The opinions that we have on this matter, honestly, don't matter, because the autopsy report proves that there was distance in between them. But boss, all of the opinions, even my experience of having the experience of being in the military and seeing what that does up close, live, and personal, none of that matters once the science determines that our hand and eye coordination means nothing. Once the science determines and tells us that the person had distance in between them, and once the defendant had distance in between her and the victim, based on the trajectory of the pew-pews, all of that just goes to the wayside. It doesn't matter. The experts concluded that this is what happened. That's the science. So
and the experts concluded that how many feet or inches was the distance?
Scientifically, because there is a science behind how close a person is to receive soot and burn marks from each one of those rounds, the velocity, the speed in which you hit the PSI when it hits the body. The science tells you that you have to be but so far away with this type of round to cause this type of damage. The fact
I agree with that, I'm not disputing
means that it was greater than at least 3 feet. So now, where were you, or what is the distance? Where is the person from when the first pew-pew happened? Where is she when the second pew-pew happens? We don't have that information, but we know that it was greater based on the autopsy results. Period.
Can I also say
I
something?
I can hit you and make you 3 feet from me.
No, you can't.
But look though, boss.
Yes, I can.
What do you think the velocity of a round does to a body? To take them up off course, whatever direction you were going. Now that you have this impact of a shell hitting you at however many feet that 9mm round goes, that will take you off your course and move you back inside.
I hear what you're saying.
And
I agree
slap you and
with
everything
that.
else.
I agree with that part. I'm talking about physically. If we're in an altercation and I punch you, right? If our faces are 24 inches from each other at that point when we're arguing, and I punch you, I can take you more than 3 feet. Yes,
No, you can't,
absolutely. Yes, I can. Are you
Okay, well,
cool?
boss, let me say this then.
You cannot take
So
me a
it's
yard
still-
off of my direction. You're
No.
not that strong enough.
Look, Judge, let me tell you this
I'm not
part,
talking
though.
about you physically. I know you tough.
But
Judge.
look,
I'm just
though,
talking about
this
in general.
This ain't Marvel.
But look though, boss.